Hello you dirty dogs and welcome back to One on One, the most in-depth football show on YouTube. Today, we're reacting to the supercomputer's latest Premier League predictions. More specifically, an algorithm developed by betting site Sporting Index. Can we, the EFD squad at large, outwit the supercomputer for the forthcoming season? But before we pitch ourselves against intelligence, first, some ground rules. Instead of addressing the whole league, which we will do on Sunday Vibes at some point no doubt, I have split the predictions into the following categories. Top 6, middle of the pack, bottom 3. Basically, I don't want to spend 10 minutes deliberating whether Newcastle finish 14th or 15th. We're stripping it back. Next, the scoring system. So I've rationalised that successfully placing a team within one of these bands deserving of 1 point. And then if you make the perfect guess, i.e. that team finishes there in real life, that's worth 3 points, meaning there's 30 points available in total. Using this system, let's have a quick look at how the supercomputer fared last season. But before we start, I want your top 6, middle of the pack and relegation candidates in the comments below. If anyone guesses them correctly, I will have you on the one-on-one show. That is a promise. So within the top 6, the supercomputer guessed 4 of the teams correctly and perfectly placed Manchester City and Chelsea. Also worth noting that it almost called the points haul for 4 of the sides. Now we're not going to be doing this moving forward, but Liverpool aside, that is scarily close from the supercomputer. Certainly gives it some more credentials. I'm already sick of saying supercomputer. I need a footballer with the initials SC. Sergio Canales, the Real Betis winger. The supercomputer will now be referred to as Sergio. Right, moving on to the relegation candidates then, and Sergio successfully guessed 2 of the 3 sides that went down, placing West Brom perfectly in 19th position. However, did drastically underestimate Aston Villa, who ended up finishing 11th. And as a Steve Brucey bonus, we're going to guess who finishes dead set in the middle of the pack. Last season, Sergio guessed Southampton as the 10th place side, when actually they finished about 16 points behind Everton, who finished in 10th. Using our scoring system, the supercomputer last season would have run up 12 points out of 30. Super my arsehole. I'm confident that we can overthrow this string of code. So, without further ado, I give to you Sergio's guesstimations for the upcoming season. Let's fill in the blanks, shall we? So let's start with Sergio's top 6 then. And in 6th place, he has gone for Tottenham. I think the computer's picked up a virus here. Now, I don't know about you, but if Kane leaves, and he's currently forcing the issue, isn't he? I can see them falling outside of the top 7. Not only does their best player want out, but the complexion of their defence is looking more and more desperate with each passing day. In the last week or so, the powers that be at Tottenham have sanctioned the sale of Toby Alderweireld to Al Hilal for £13 million. Now, I know he was on massive wages, but that leaves Eric Dyer, Joe Rodon, Davinson Sanchez and Japhet Tanganga as the club's primary centre-halves. None of those combinations spell top 6 to me, regardless of how good Højbjerg is at shielding that defence. Now, Atalanta's 23-year-old Argentine Christian Romero has been sounded out by sporting director Fabio Paratici to fix this problem, but for the pricely sum of £42 million. Gotta say, I think I'll probably just pay it at this point. No doubt Atalanta will turn that into 2 great first teamers. But still, the only addition of note so far in this summer transfer market looks like he played lead guitar in every single indie band that I listened to growing up. I'm going to have to disagree with the supercomputer on this. I actually think they're in danger of finishing 7th or 8th. In 5th place, we have Arsenal. Now, like Sergio the super comp, I can also see Arsenal bouncing back, particularly after that £52 million capture of Benjamin White. I mean, they're already pretty impressive from a defensive standpoint to start with. Last season, Arsenal shipped the 3rd fewest goals in the Premier League, only conceding 7 more than Manchester City, which was pretty impressive given the heavy rotation that backline endured. However, going forward, a different story, wasn't it? Creativity and goals very short in supply. The Gunners' 55 goals for was decidedly average, wasn't it? And ranked them 9th in the league for that metric. Outscored by the likes of Leeds and West Ham. Now, despite not addressing this in the transfer market as of yet, I don't think it would be a dereliction of duty for Mikel Arteta to expect greater returns from Aubameyang, who only scored 10 goals last campaign. In fact, that was his worst haul across a full season since he was an impact sub at Lille in 2009-10. Also, his mother was ill, he contracted malaria, he was late for that North London derby, which caused a media furore, didn't it? I mean, don't be late, but still, just bad vibes for Auba last season. Also, Smith Rowe got 1,500 minutes under his belt for the first time in his campaign, meaning that theoretically he should be much better equipped now moving forward to pick up that creative burden left by Mesut Ozil. Although the James Maddison rumours are picking up pace. Mid-episode debate, would you take the £70 million for him? My hot take, I would snap their hand off. And it looks like their solution to replacing Xhaka is in fact to keep Xhaka, which I think is pretty wise considering that the African Cup of Nations is happening this season in Jan, which will likely mean that Thomas Partey departs to represent his country. In conclusion, I think the supercomputer has been a bit generous here, moving up Arsenal 3 places a tad unfounded. At number 4, Sergio has gone for Manchester United. Now, funnily enough, this is exactly where stats provider Understat ranked United last season based on expected points. So, a bit like me, it appears the supercomputer thinks that Ollie's second place finish last term probably said more about the state of the teams around them than United developing into genuine title contenders. However, Sancho and Varane bring them an awful lot closer, don't they? In terms of improving the starting 11, I'm not sure that United's summer can be topped. And if they upgraded that double pivot in the form of Ndidi, I firmly believe that they would leapfrog Chelsea to become City's biggest title rivals. Based on talent alone, Ollie can just stand there. There's been no chat about Wilfred though. In fact, it's all been about the transfer tussle with Liverpool for Atletico's Sal Niguez, who, may I add, is probably somewhat underrated by Premier League fans as a box-to-box proposition. For example, between 2015 and 2020, his tackles and interceptions did not drop below 4 per match, peaking at 5.2 in the 17-18 season. Now, sickeningly, Ndidi has never dropped below 6 tackles and interceptions per match during his Premier League career. But the trade-off there is that Saul is a much more capable attacker, isn't he? Contributing to a goal every 5 games in his Atletico career. I don't think the supercomputer is too far off here, but I'm still going to disagree. In the bronze medal position, Supercomp has gone for Chelsea. Now, their only flaw under Tuchel last season was their efficacy in front of goal. Jorginho was their top goal scorer on 7. Clang. And it wasn't just Timo Werner that underperformed on his expected goals. It was also Pulisic and Kai Havertz. Hence why they recently submitted a mind-boggling €100 million bid for 28-year-old Romelu Lukaku. At the time of writing, that has been rejected, with Inter holding out for 10 to 20 million euros more, which no doubt Roman Abramovich will pay. Just one less lifeboat on the super yacht. Now, it's safe to say that Romelu Lukaku has made good on his potential during his time in Italy, where last season his expected goals and assist tally combined was 0.99 per 90, basically getting a goal out of him some way, shape or form every single match. It also appears that Chelsea aren't stopping there with their summer business, and they seem weirdly hung up on signing Jules Koundé. I say weird because the party line now is that they've been tracking him for 2 years. Feels like a lie. Yes, they do have Thiago Silva, Rudiger, Christensen, Azpilicueta, Reece James, Zuma. However, the first 4 names that I just mentioned only have a year left on their contract. So this is clearly a move to future-proof that defence. Smart. I actually think the supercomputer is underestimating the impact that Tuchel is going to have across the course of a season. So I'm yet to agree on a single position with this hunk of junk. Second place, it's gone for Liverpool, which I think, again, generous. Now, yes, Konate has come in from RB Leipzig to shore up that injury-stricken defence, and Joe Gomez and Virgil van Dijk recently returned during pre-season. But Gini Wijnaldum yet to be replaced, and there's more ill will towards FSG after it emerged that they were reluctant to offer Jordan Henderson a 2-year contract extension. Now, if Naby Keita can string together any semblance of fitness, he could play a big part in that midfield this season. His last 2 campaigns have only yielded 1,000 league minutes combined, so I'm not holding my breath. So without further reinforcements, that midfield looking a bit threadbare. Although Curtis Jones got over 1,000 minutes last season, which will put him in good stead moving forward. And the club should profit from the return of 18-year-old Harvey Barnes, who had a tremendous campaign on loan at Blackburn, contributing to 18 goals in just 31 starts. Diogo Jota returning to fitness is also a huge one, isn't he? Scored 9 goals in just 12 starts last season. Expect him to usurp Firmino in that 4-3-3 in the coming campaign. Clearly, the supercomputer doesn't share my concerns. And in number 1, finally, something we agree on, City coming out as champs. Their dominance with Grealish and Kane would be farcical, particularly the latter. And even if they don't land Kane, I think that Gabriel Jesus is underrated, well capable of scoring 15 league goals if he's played down the middle for a decent amount of minutes. Despite gaining a reputation as someone that isn't as cutthroat as a player like Sergio Aguero, he still contributed to 71 goals in 78 starts. And they won the league at a canter last season when Gundogan was the top goal scorer. The only noteworthy weakness in that side is left back. Benjamin Mendy can be upgraded, isn't looking like the player that they bought from Monaco. Imagine someone like Theo Hernandez bombing up and down that left flank, frightening. Okay, let's see how that compares to my top 6 before we move quickly on to the other 2 sections. So for the reasons I've just discussed pretty much, I've gone for Manchester City top, Chelsea second, Manchester United third, Liverpool 4th, Leicester 5th, and Arsenal 6th. I'm feeling pretty good about this. The only thing that's got me conflicted is possibly swapping Manchester United and Liverpool around. It's going to be fine margins, baby, but the business that has been conducted by the big boys in the Premier League this season, I think will see them bounce back with a vengeance, apart from Tottenham. On to middle of the pack then, where the supercomputer has put West Ham. Now last season they ran the top 4 close, finishing 6th, 6 points ahead of 10th placed Everton. But can I see teams clawing back that 6-point deficit given the business that has been conducted in this summer window? Yes. Now the Irons have brought in Alphonse Areola, who was absolutely superb at Fulham, saving a monstrous 7.6 more goals than the average goalkeeper would have let in according to post-shot XG. However, Fabianski was already one of their more reliable performers. So does this upgrade the starting 11 significantly? Now they've been linked with a £20 million move for Kurt Zouma, which is fine. But if they let an Aston Villa, for example, snaffle a Tammy Abraham and an Axel Tuanzebe from under their noses, then they deserve to fall down the table. Less important this section, but I've gone for Everton as my 10th place side just because Everton specialise in inertia. I feel for the Goodison Park faithful. James Rodriguez now wants out. Now Ancelotti's gone, doesn't he? Fortunately, Rafa Benitez is a very good coach, which is just as well because quite clearly Everton aren't going to spend any money this season, are they? Biggest outlay so far has been £1.8 million on Damari Gray, who is fast, and they need speed in that front line, but underwhelming. And we wrap things up then with this supercomputer's bottom 3. Now in 18th place, they've gone Crystal Palace. Can sort of understand. At the time of writing, Palace have seen 12 players leave, with only 6 coming in. And of those 6, only 4 are first team replacements. However, I would say that Dougie Friedman, the sporting director, has made a very good start actually in terms of the wider rebuild. Average age of players coming in, 23 years and 1 month. Average age of players going out, 29 years and 3 months. It's pretty dramatic, but it's surgery that needed to happen. There are also rumours that the club are targeting the likes of Reece Nelson, Matheus Pereira, Arnaut Danjuma and Youssef Attal. Pretty exciting times, even if half of those are landed, but it does remain to be seen just how good Patrick Vieira is in the Premier League. I'd be a lot more bullish if it was Lucien Favre managing this young talent. In his 2 full seasons at Nice, Vieira's crowning achievement was a 5th place finish in Ligue 1. Respectable, but just not sure how that translates. They'll do well to finish above 14th, but still too good for relegation in my books. Second from bottom, the supercomputer has gone Brentford. Now to say that this side is a raw side when it comes to Premier League football is an understatement. Of the current squad, just goalkeeper Luke Daniels and Ivan Toney have played Premier League football. And even then, they only clocked up 3 appearances between them. However, Brentford like to go against the grain, don't they, when it comes to footballing operations. And I also like the spine of their side. Raya in goal, Pinnock, Janssen, Ayard, De Silva, Tony. These are players who are well placed to make the step up from Championship football. Unlike the supercomputer, I think they could surprise a few people this season. And the bringing up the rear is Watford in 20th. Me and the supercomputer agreeing at both ends of the table here. Now, they only finished 6 points off Norwich in the race for the Championship title last season, but the Canaries have probably conducted better business than them since. Watford's business actually looks quite ominous. Only Imran Loser has come in for a noteworthy fee, joining from Nantes for £9 million. Emmanuel Dennis, absolute wild card, although they have retained Ismail Assar, who is of Premier League quality. Don't want to sound too defeatist, but I think they'd probably do well to adopt Norwich's approach 2 seasons ago of preparing for Championship life now and then an assault on sustained Premier League football in like 2-3 years' time. Could go through more managers and they get points. Unnecessary. My bottom 3 then is Burnley, a startling lack of investment in that squad in this off-season. Then Norwich, then Watford. Do you agree? Like I said, let me know in the comments below. I want your top 6, your middle of the pack, and your relegation candidates. And if you guess them successfully, I will have you on this show at the start of next season. Who do you think's going to win then? Me or the supercomputer? Let me know in the comments. Let me know on my socials. I was about to say vote in the poll, but that's very 2017, isn't it? And yes, that is the end of the show. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Please like this video. It really helps with the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel with notifications on. I'll be in the comments in the first hour like I always am. And heads up, no episode next week because I'm working on something special for Football Daily. But until next time, we'll see you on other shows. So bye. Take care of yourself.